I'll never forget just feeling so helpless and confused because I knew there had to be things that I could do.
You're listening to the What the Gut podcast, where busy moms can come for a holistic approach to health and vitality. I'm Allison, your host, a holistic health and wellness coach. In this space, we'll dive into the intricacies of achieving holistic wellness while balancing the demands of daily life as a busy mom. What the Gut is your haven for navigating the challenges that come with juggling numerous tasks while aiming for a healthier, more balanced life. Join me as we uncover practical solutions to common health hurdles, from managing fatigue to understanding all things gut health. Through insightful discussions, actionable insights, and tailored lifestyle strategies, my goal here is to empower you to embrace a vibrant, nourishing life while saying goodbye to being overwhelmed and exhausted. So if you're ready to embark on this transformative journey towards holistic well-being, hit that subscribe button. Get ready to discover the secrets to thriving in motherhood while nurturing your overall wellness. A quick reminder, everything discussed here is for educational and empowering purposes only and is not intended for personalized medical advice. Consult your personal healthcare provider for personalized medical advice. Welcome to What the Gut, where we create our own path to holistic health, one episode at a time. In this episode of What the Gut, I'm happy to have Taryn Firsker. Now, Taryn is a holistic nutritionist, a pregnancy nutrition specialist, and she's the founder of Aubergine and Olive Holistic Nutrition. She's super passionate about supporting women to optimize their fertility and have a healthy, thriving pregnancy. She's an herbal apprentice, former diplomat, and she's a mom of 3 who lives in Canada. You can often find her cooking up something delicious in the kitchen or hanging out with the plants in her garden. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today, Taryn. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here as well. Thank you for inviting me on.
Yes. Now, I know you're a mama of 3 as well, and you are a holistic nutritionist, pregnancy nutrition specialist, and you have your own holistic nutrition company, Aubergine and Olive, and you're really passionate about helping women optimize their fertility and have a healthy, thriving pregnancy. I love this. Like, so much of my story started like throughout my pregnancy journey and just surrounding that. And so like mom's health, birth, all of that is like totally my thing. So I'm really excited to have you here today and talk more about like fertility nutrition. But I know that you have your own story into how you got into this, as we all do. Please share with me and our listeners like your story of infertility and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. So I have 3 kids now, but going back to when we were trying for our second baby, the first one happened like so quick and easy. We figured that we'd have no trouble getting pregnant with the second. So we started trying and nothing happened. And we tried and we tried. And finally, after like several months, I got pregnant and we were super excited. But then I had a miscarriage. And I went to the doctor and said, okay, like, when we're ready to start trying again, what can I do to like get my body ready? What can I do to improve our chances again next time? And she just said to me, oh, just take a prenatal and you'll be fine. I left that visit. I'll never forget just feeling so helpless and confused because I knew there had to be things that I could do.
It almost also puts it like all on you. Like there's nothing else you can do different, but just take like a generic prenatal vitamin, right?
Exactly.
Like there
So
was some reason why you weren't able to carry it, but it wasn't based on like your health or anything.
there was nothing personalized, no individual
Yeah.
attention, just kind of keep trying, keep trying. So I went down the rabbit hole and I did so much research and I read all the things and I tried so many different things. I stressed myself out so much, which was maybe part of the problem. But I knew that there had to be things that I could do. So I would try all the things, everything. And finally, I got pregnant and we went on to have a beautiful baby girl. And then later on, we had another baby. But like that feeling when I left the doctor's office of just feeling so uncertain and confused and helpless, that's really always stuck with me. And I know that I'm not the only one that's felt like that. So that's kind of what's been the driver for me in my nutrition practice, is really to help women who are in that same situation and know that there are things that they can do to help their body optimize their fertility and prepare for pregnancy, but they just don't know what those things are and how to kind of figure out what they need to do.
Right. Now, and how long did you go without being able to get pregnant?
It took us a total almost 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, other listeners out there, have definitely experienced that as well. And I know how important nutrition can be as well, even during pregnancy. I think that it's like doctors don't talk about that enough to their patients. And I know you can vouch for that too. And so, especially how stress impacts us too. Like you were saying, you were super stressed, and that probably had a huge thing to do with it. So, for people out there listening who are struggling with infertility, there are so many other ways to help your body prepare. And I know nutrition is one of them. So, Taryn, can you share with us, like, why specifically is nutrition really important to pay attention to? Like, even before we're pregnant, when we're preparing?
Yeah, I think that's such a great question. And, we're so focused on like prenatal nutrition and what we eat when we're pregnant that we often don't think about like that it actually goes further back than that. Because what we do and we don't do, like even before we're pregnant, can have significant effects on our ability to get pregnant, on our pregnancy, and even postpartum. There are like direct connections there. So paying attention to how we nourish ourselves and our diet and nutrition when we even just start thinking about starting a family or growing our family, that's really the time to start and not waiting just until we're pregnant.
Yeah, I know in my training, like it wasn't specific to pregnancy and, perinatal nutrition by any means, but I was always taught in my functional medicine training, like prepare your body for like at least 2 years. If you are not where you want to be and you're wanting to get pregnant, like at least plan to get a healthy detox done and prepare your body with the right nutrients and everything. And like that's for just a like anybody, right? That's not somebody that we're even talking about with like a bunch of chronic health issues. But I mean, and some people are definitely, more fortunate and get pregnant sooner, but some people are not. And just to get your body optimized, like it's a real thing. Why do you think that so many women are facing challenges with their fertility now? And I mean, because it is at an all-time high right now where infertility is it
Yeah.
seems like it's so much more common.
Yeah, it really is. And it's such a big question. And I don't think that there's a straightforward or definite answer. Um, from my perspective, I can tell you what I think. I think it boils down to kind of two factors. So on the one side, I really think it has a lot to do with our diet and our lifestyle. So the chemicals and environmental toxins we're exposed to, our processed food diet, our overuse of medication, our sedentary lifestyle, our stress levels, all that kind of stuff, I think is really contributing to why we're seeing so many cases now of women with PCOS and endometriosis and other conditions that contribute to fertility or just even just a general challenge in conceiving. So I think that that all contributes. And then I think the other side of it is all of this overwhelming and conflicting and unreliable information out there on what we're supposed to do for fertility. Like all the fertility hacks and diets and supplements and things like that. We have so much information available to us right now, but it's so hard to figure out, like, out of all this information, what actually works and what are we actually supposed to do? So we end up just like trying random things or trying everything and hoping something sticks. And then we're surprised when it doesn't work. So I think it's kind of the two together are going hand in hand and really contributing to a lot of fertility challenges these days.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, and even if you're trying all these different things and you're so focused on it, like that stress alone, the stress can definitely impact. And even staying pregnant, because it seems like even these days, more women are prone to having miscarriages. They might can get pregnant, but they're not carrying to
Yeah.
term. And it's definitely, I think, a contribution of everything that you mentioned. So, With all of that other information out there, though, like, what are your top tips to optimize fertility and like boost your chances of having a healthy pregnancy?
So I just kind of talked about like railed on pregnancy hacks and tips and things like that. So I kind of hesitate sometimes like to give out more hacks because I think the last thing that women need is like more things to add to their to-do list, right?
Right, right.
But like that said, I do kind of have strategic tips that can help for optimizing fertility and preparing for pregnancy. And really, the number one thing that I encourage women to focus on is egg quality. Because the simple fact is, we need to have good, healthy, good quality eggs to make babies. And so I think that having a strategy that focuses on egg quality can be really, really helpful. And then when you have a strategy, then you're no longer just randomly trying different tips and hacks. You have a strategy in place so you know what to do and why you're doing it. So when it
Yeah.
comes to egg quality, and you were just saying, with the huge rates of miscarriage right now, poor egg quality is really one of the top causes of miscarriage. Oftentimes, I mean, we kind of miscarry before we even know we're pregnant, but then sometimes we do when we know we're pregnant, and a lot of it comes down to poor egg quality because our bodies just can't sustain a healthy pregnancy, and they won't sustain a healthy pregnancy if there's an issue with the egg to begin with. So egg quality again is so super important. But the good news, the good side of it is that we have a lot of control over our egg quality through our diet and our lifestyle. So if we're making these kind of targeted and strategic choices in our diet and lifestyle, we can absolutely increase the health of our eggs and then increase our chances of getting pregnant and then of having a healthy pregnancy. I guess the one other thing I wanted to mention is that I do actually have a free guide called the Fertility Fundamentals Guide. And in there, I do offer a few like simple, practical tips for fertility and for pregnancy preparation that do really, like, they're simple and basic, but they lay a really good foundation for improving egg quality and fertility. And so I have that available on my website.
Okay, yeah, and I'll be sure to link that in the show notes. And,
Great.
I do appreciate that, like you pointing out the egg quality because I think, I mean, there's so many factors that can contribute to not being able to get pregnant. Is it the female? Is it the male? Is it the egg quality? All kinds of different things. But like the things that we can control, and it's not so much of like, hey, women, we need to be doing more, but what are you doing right now? And can you optimize what you're doing right now already? Like you're going to be eating every day anyway. So eat better whole foods that are going to, I mean, not just help your egg quality, right? But like help you in all these other ways, your gut health, your mood and, everything. But also like the things that we put on our body, the different kind of perfumes, chemicals, household cleaners, all these things, like unless we're making sure they have clean ingredients, they have all of these like endocrine disrupting chemicals, which affect our hormones and are going to affect our egg quality. And I
Yeah.
think like these days, just like what you said, our environment, the toxins, that's just all contributing to it for sure. Now, what's the deal with supplements during pregnancy or even before pregnancy? Like, I know doctors say prenatal vitamin, but what do we really need to take before pregnancy, in
I'm
your
so happy
opinion?
you asked this because I love talking about supplements. It's one of my favorite subjects, and I love to rant about it because I think there's so much misconception and misunderstanding about supplements in general, but prenatals specifically. And I think like the most important point that I really like to make is that you don't have to take anything, right?
Right.
Supplements are always a choice. There is nothing that you have to take. And for the vast majority of women, you can absolutely have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby without taking any additional supplements just through the right diet and lifestyle. But like I said, it's a choice. And ultimately, it's up to you to decide what's best for yourself and for your baby and make that informed decision based on your situation. So, like I said, it's a choice. And for those who do decide to take supplements, whether it's during pregnancy, before pregnancy, or after pregnancy, you need to make an informed decision. And I think that there's a few really important things to consider if supplements are the choice that you've decided that is best for you. The number one point I like to hammer home is that there is no magic pill. There is no there's no prenatal supplement. Like you could take the best supplement in the world. But if your diet is full of like processed foods with few nutrients and you're exposing yourself to all kinds of chemicals and toxins, this unicorn supplement is really unlikely to do much for you. So even the best kind of prenatal vitamin is not a good substitute for a healthy diet and lifestyle.
Right.
So I remember being in my first pregnancy and being unaware of all of this at the time and really just thinking that it didn't matter that much what I ate because I was taking the prenatal, which I think is really a really dangerous assumption to make because
Yeah.
it's kind of the opposite, that it doesn't matter so much what supplements you're taking. What counts is what you're actually eating.
Yeah.
And the other
Now,
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to ask you, so whenever you became like a holistic nutritionist, was this after you had your children or were you doing any of this before?
Yeah, so nutrition has always been a passion for mine, but I actually used to be a diplomat. And so I left that career a few years ago and moved into the nutrition field. So
Okay.
I started as a nutritionist after having my baby. So I have all of this knowledge and experience kind of in hindsight.
Yeah. No, I love that because everything you're saying, I'm like, gosh, we have so much in common. My first pregnancy, I was not in the healthcare field at all and thought very much like you did. Like I literally just did what my doctor said and was just told take a prenatal. Didn't like, I completely just embraced pregnancy, ate whatever I wanted, lived it up, and don't regret any of it, but was eating like trash, right? And I did definitely have consequences to that after the fact. But then, like, it's something with that second pregnancy and that second child that gives you just a life altering experience. I've heard this from so many moms.
Yeah.
And that, like, just everything surrounding my second pregnancy and birth definitely got me more into, like, well, what is best for my body, right? Like, what are my choices? And am I making informed decisions and looking into all of that? So, you know, I love how pregnancy teaches us that, or even, just our experiences with miscarriage and infertility. Like we gain so much from it. We have to look at the joy and what comes out of it. So, I love all of that. But going back to the supplements though, I love how you're pointing out like you still have to eat right, ladies, and that's just it's not emphasized enough, right? But going back to the supplements, what was the second important thing that you were going to say?
So the second important thing that I think a lot of us don't realize is that all supplements are not created equally. There is no standard prenatal supplement formula. So when you go to like your health food store or, the pharmacy or wherever you're buying your supplements from, and you see like on the walls, there's so many different products available, they're not going to all have the same thing. So like each brand and each product is really going to vary in terms of what it includes, the amount of the nutrients included, and the quality of those ingredients, and then also what else it includes, like the non-medicinal ingredients. So you have to make a very careful choice if you do decide to take a supplement, that you are choosing a quality supplement that has the nutrients that you actually need.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that you pointed that out too, because there have been so many times where I used to work in clinic as a nurse practitioner, and I would really want to get a high quality supplement for a patient. And I would get a lot of pushback from other providers telling me, oh, just send it in to get it over the counter. Just tell them to get, just generic. And I mean, it's not emphasized enough that like you want something that's third party tested, that's high quality from reputable companies, because even if it is a cheaper supplement, there might be fillers in there or heavy metals or all kinds of extra toxins. Like you really have no idea. And it's kind of scary. So, supplement quality for sure. And especially like if you're preparing to be pregnant or are pregnant, like that should be definitely at the top of your mind too, because it's not only impacting you, but, your baby too.
Yep.
So now, Taryn, what are your top three health and wellness tips for mamas, like at any stage?
Yeah, I think sometimes as a mama, it can be so hard to think about your own health and wellness because you're just focused on your family. But having gone through it myself, I've kind of think about like, what do I wish I would have told myself when I was like in it, you know?
Yeah.
So there are some things that I wish that someone had told me, or I wish that I would have known to do. And I kind of keep it simple. So, like, number one, drink more water. Water is really essential for all life. Our bodies are like made up mainly of water.
Yeah.
And if you're doing nothing else to take care of yourself, at least drink a good amount of water. So we're looking at like 2 liters, or I think that's like 60 ounces of water a day at least, and clean water. So ideally filtered water, making sure your water is coming from a good, healthy, clean source, and having easy access to it so that you're drinking water throughout the day. At like the very minimum, just staying hydrated is super important.
Yeah. I
Um,
love that. That reminds me, I always keep my cup with my
yeah,
straw, 'cause
here's
if it doesn't have a straw, I typically won't drink it unless it's coffee, so I have to take a sip too. Yeah.
whatever works for you to get your water in, just do it.
Yeah.
So the second tip I would have is kind of my number one golden rule when it comes to nutrition, and it's so simple: eat real food. So, like, forget about, the latest fad diet or intermittent fasting, counting your macros or things like that. Like, busy mamas don't have time for that kind of stuff. Just
Okay.
keep it simple and prioritize eating real food. And what I mean by real food, and this is kind of how I explain it to my kids, is ask yourself, was this made by nature or was this made in a factory? And
I
it's kind of
look,
obvious what those are, right?
I literally tell my kids the same thing. I'm like, "Is it real food or fake food? Did it come
Yeah.
from God or the ground, or did it come from a factory?"
There you go. There you go. And it's a clear difference. Now there's kind of like a spectrum on there. And if
Yeah.
you're looking at that, you want to be closer to, the God or ground side rather than the factory side. And of course, we know we're all human, and some of those factory things are delicious and hard to give up. So you can't be 100% perfect, but like when you have the options available to you and when you're making choices, choose the real food and forget
Right.
about all the other diet advice. If you do that one thing, you'll be fine.
Right, right. Like, don't make it complicated. If
Exactly.
you're just now kind of listening to this and wanting practical tips, like, just start with eating real food any chance you can. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. And then the third tip I have, more of a wellness tip, but move your body every day, ideally outside. And one of my favorite ways of doing this is just go for a walk. So, like, bundle the kids up and go out 20 minutes, whatever, just get outside. Or sometimes what I do when I feel like I need a little bit of alone time is I'll go check the mail. So our mailbox is like maybe, I don't know, a quarter mile away or so. So I'll just tell them, okay, I need to go check the mail now. And I will go and take myself on a little walk. And it
Take your
helps me like
time.
take my time. I get my little bit of alone time, and I'm moving my body. I'm getting fresh air. I'm getting exposure to sunlight, all of the benefits. So whatever you need to do on a daily basis, move your body ideally outside.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Those are all tips that I tell people anyway. And I love how, like, everything we're talking about, it doesn't just apply to like fertility. Like, this can be for women, for men, for anybody out there listening at any point. But it just goes to show you that going back to like these absolute basic needs that our body craves, just like healthy food, real food, not a toxic environment, all of that, like, that's gonna help you get pregnant, stay pregnant as well. So I just love how it's all connected to that.
And then when we do these things to take care of ourselves and nourish ourselves, well, we're mirroring healthy habits for our kids to follow. So
Exactly.
we're teaching them how they can take care of themselves. And really, kids learn so much better from learning from others and mimicking others rather than being told what to do. So you can tell your kid to eat their vegetables, but it works a lot better if they see you eating real food, if they see you drinking water, if they see you making an effort, a conscious effort to go out and move your body, then they understand that those things are actually important. So, when you're beyond, that the pregnancy journey stage and you are raising your kids, having those the healthy habits as examples, it's more than just for you. It's for your kids as well.
Yeah, I agree. And my youngest is 4. And so whenever I had him is whenever I really started exercising a lot. and exercising at home because it was 2020 when he was born. And even now, like he'll see me and he wants to work out with me, and it's so cute, but it's like he knows that that's what mom does. And I don't ever talk about, hey, I'm working out right now, watch me work out, but like he does see it. So it's like the actions for sure speak louder than just the words.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah. Well, Taryn, I feel like we touched on so much stuff. This was absolutely awesome. Is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with? If there's not, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's great. I will definitely link your website and your Instagram and how people can get in touch with you in the show notes. So if anybody does want to reach out to you, work with you, they will have a place to find you. Now, let me ask you this too. What does it look like whenever you work with clients?
So there's two ways that I work with clients. So the one way I work with them is through my online group program called the Fertility Fundamentals program. So it's an online program where I basically walk you through exactly what you need to do, all the steps, how to do them, what you need to do to optimize your fertility and prepare your body for a healthy pregnancy. And it's all set up in like an online course, so it's really flexible and easy to access. And then the other way that I work with women is one-on-one directly in virtual consultations. And I'm based in Canada, but I work with women virtually all over the world. So
Yeah.
whether it's in that one-on-one setting or in the online group program setting.
And this is for women who have struggled with infertility or are trying to get pregnant for the first time, anything like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who is having a hard time getting pregnant, having fertility challenges, absolutely for them. For women who are even just thinking about pregnancy and understand the importance of preparing their bodies for pregnancy
Yeah.
well before they actually get pregnant. And for anybody who has any concerns about, their ability to get pregnant or their ability to have a healthy pregnancy, yeah, anyone along those lines for sure.
Yeah. I love that. So throughout my second and my third pregnancy, I did have a doula who was with me. And well, I say throughout my second pregnancy, I actually decided to have her. It was like 2 weeks until my baby was born. But she was amazing. And she's one of my closest friends now. And she was with me throughout my third pregnancy. But having her there to tell me different things as far as like, this is where you need to look for the right kind of exercises to prepare your body, or she got me in touch with the midwife that I used. And, I mean, she did focus a little bit on nutrition, but, like she would point me in the directions of other people who would help me more specifically with this. And so I loved, though, the concept of that, because having somebody to help you through pregnancy, like to support you even through the birthing process, but the nutrition process too, like this, like that's wonderful. Because I just remember thinking, "Oh, okay, like, I don't know if I really need a doula. Like, what is this support person gonna do?" And, they do so much more than just your husband could do right there, or, like, in your situation, more than your OB would do as far as talking to you about nutrition. Like, you need other tools, other people there with you throughout your journey of getting pregnant to talk to you about, like, the right exercises or the right nutrition. So, like, I love that this is something that you do. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's so funny that you brought that up because I think about this sometimes about how like 100 years ago, like I wouldn't have this job and we wouldn't have doulas because we had a village of support. We had an entire community of like our mother and our sisters and our aunts and cousins to be there for us and to who had been through this experience, so who would tell us what we needed to do and what we shouldn't do and to really hold our hands and support us through it. And now we've lost that village. And
Yeah.
we've kind of gotten this idea that, well, we were just supposed to go through it on our own and figure it out on our own. And now we're starting to kind of regain this village in a different way through all of these perinatal and birth workers and support workers like doulas and nutritionists and things like that. We can bring people in again to and kind of create our own village of support.
Yeah. I love it though. I love it. Like with my first pregnancy, I did just what my doctor said, right? And had a scheduled C-section. That was fine. It was a beautiful experience, but like that was it. And then through my other births, I ended up having a vaginal birth after C-section and had a doula, and I prepared my body for birth. I took birthing classes, like I read all the books,
and really embraced that holistic approach. Had I known about like more of a holistic nutritionist, I definitely would have done that too. I was like all game for it. So I know there's people out there who are like open to that. And I'm so glad that I got to experience all of that. Right. So, I mean, it's a great thing having so many different people support you for your pregnancy.
Yeah. I
So,
think, and the more support you have, the better.
yeah, it was awesome. Well, Taryn, this has been so fun. I'm so excited to have you here and for our listeners to hear this episode. Thank you so much for being here today.
Okay. Thank you so much again for having me.
Thank you for being a part of my journey on What the Gut podcast. For a deeper dive into today's topics, head over to allisonandwellness.com/whatthegut or find the detailed show notes linked below. Hey, and don't miss out on future episodes. Hit that subscribe button, and if you love this one, please leave me a review. Let's keep the conversation going over on Instagram. Connect with me and stay updated and engaged with my awesome community. Plus, share these valuable insights with your tribe. They deserve to feel as amazing as you do. You can find me at Allison_and_wellness on Instagram. Your support means the world to me. I'm looking forward to our next awesome chat. But until then, stay curious, don't drink too much coffee, keep the vibrant energy flowing, and take care of your gut. Catch you real soon. Oh, and hey, if you're ready to dive deeper into personalized wellness, check out my one-on-one health coaching program at allisonandwellness.com. Let's make your journey to holistic health truly transformative.